All right, it is time for reading. We're going to start with our main idea card of the day. I'm going to be reading it out loud. You can be following along. All colors are made from red, yellow, and blue. Red, yellow, and blue are known as primary colors. From them, all other colors can be made. Red and yellow makes orange. Blue and red makes purple. And blue and yellow makes green. Orange, purple, and green are known as secondary colors, and they can't be used to make red, yellow, or blue. What is the main idea behind this paragraph? That's right, it should be the first sentence. All colors are made from red, yellow, and blue. All right, we have a couple text feature task cards to look at as review as well. We're going to look at the one on the left first. So look at the text feature that's displayed there. Look at the arrow. What is it pointing to? Is it A, caption, B, labels, C, diagram, or D, timeline? That is correct. It is A, caption. Now let's look at the text feature displayed below on the right. Look in the box. What is that? What would we call that? Is it A, table of contents, B, index, C, glossary, or D, title page? That is correct. It is B, index. Remember, a table of contents comes at the very beginning, and it tells you the chapters and the names of the chapters and what pages they're on. The glossary comes at the very end along with the index. However, the glossary tells you words and definitions. An index tells you words and what page numbers to find those words on. All right, the teaching point for today. It says good nonfiction readers can identify the author's viewpoint. So today I'm going to teach you about the author's point of view or perspective. Okay, so those are synonyms to one another. Who can tell me what they think point of view means? So if we look at this poster, point of view says what is the author's attitude or opinion? What message is the author trying to send? What kinds of words does the author use to portray his or her feelings? When we read, the author wants us to be thinking about something in particular. That's why they write it the way that they do. We're going to take a look at this point of view PowerPoint. All right, so here is a discussion. What school subject is more important, math or reading, and why? Now, if we think about everyone in our class, do you think they would have the same opinion or point of view? Of course not, because we all see things differently. We have different points of view. Some authors write to share their point of view about a topic. They include reasons and examples to help convince readers to agree with them. Fall is the best season. The trees are beautiful when the leaves change colors. Also, fall is the start of the football season. There is nothing better than eating chili and watching football with the family on a cool fall afternoon. So here, obviously, what is the author's viewpoint and why? It is important that children read every night. Reading helps to develop a vocabulary. Regular reading can also improve a child's fluency and comprehension. Most importantly, reading helps to develop a love for books. What is the author's point of view? So what are they trying to get across to you and why? From your point of view, should third graders have a cell phone and why? From your point of view, should children be paid to complete chores and why? So you want to be thinking about different people's opinions because different people would be asking and answering these questions differently. Not necessarily asking, but answering. All right, so we're going to read a passage today about someone's point of view. Okay, so it's actually author 1. And the passage is called Should Animals Perform in the Circus? So I'm actually going to read this out loud to you. So let me go ahead and click on the link. And obviously this is recorded, so you can go back and look at this at any point in time if you need to. So once again, this is going to be the first author. Author 2 more than likely we'll look at tomorrow. So the title says, Should Animals Perform in the Circus? Growing up, my grandmother would weave tales of her circus adventures from when she was a little girl. I always found it fascinating, the pictures she would paint with her words of monkeys juggling, lions soaring through a hoop of fire, or elephants balancing on a ball. We had a yearly tradition of going to the circus together. However, after reports of animals being mistreated in the circus, I began to do my own research, and my ideas of animals performing in the circus began to change. Instead of spending their lives in the wild, most circus animals spend much of their time behind bars. The majority of circuses travel up to 48 weeks of the year, leaving animals in tiny cages that are just big enough for them to stand and turn around in. In their natural habitat, animals such as the lion will travel 5 to 6 miles per day, whereas the elephants are known to walk up to 30 miles a day. That's a big change compared to the amount of time circus animals are forced to stay in cages while traveling. This type of confinement can cause shorter lives for the circus performing animals. They can develop mental disorders, physical disabilities, and joint problems due to their lack of movement that they would usually have if left in the wild. I was most shocked to learn that baby animals are taken away from their mothers at a very young age, sometimes right after birth. Animals such as elephants, lions, and tigers, and chimpanzees spend years with their young in the wild, teaching them how to hunt and survive. However, in the circus environment, the babies are taken away and raised in a very lonely environment. Studies have proven that these actions can cause the babies and their mother stress, depression, and anxiety. Perhaps the saddest topic when it comes to animals in the circus is how many of the animals are sometimes physically punished as a way to train them. It has been reported that trainers use horrible tools, such as bull hooks, whips, tight collars, and muzzles, as a way to train the animals to complete tricks. If the animal does not perform the trick correctly or at all, the trainer will use one of these weapons to force the animals into performing correctly. This method of training is inhumane to the poor animals and can cause them to bleed, bruise, or in worst case scenarios, have broken bones. Now, as an adult, I work hard to boycott animal circuses and join peaceful campaigns to stop animal cruelty in circuses around the United States. If we all work together, perhaps we could make a difference and help the animals live normal lives. So unfortunately, it's a little bit sad. However, it is a good thing that a lot of circuses are now not performing because of this, or they're doing more acrobats instead of doing anything with animals. So I'm going to leave that open so I can switch back to our slides. After reading the first author's point of view, we're actually going to fill out a graphic organizer, which is on my next slide, so we can better understand what the point of view or perspective is, okay? It is important that we identify what the author's point of view is and give at least 3 evidence or reasons why. So if we look at this, let me zoom in just a smidgen. We would put the title at the top. Okay, if I click back, the title says, Should Animals Perform in the Circus? So that's what I would type up at the top. How does the author feel about blank? Well, we should put in that blank circus. How does the author feel about the circus? So I guess I would put 2 words there. Okay, and then if I needed more space, obviously there are lines below. How do you know? So we need clue 1, clue 2, clue 3. So if I go back, I would probably say this first paragraph talked about them being in their cages too much and for too long every single day. And because of that, they end up having mental disorders, physical disabilities, and joint problems because they don't move as much as they normally would in the wild. So that would be my clue number 1. And I like to go in order based on the paragraphs that we read. Now, if I go back to the passage and look for clue 2, I'm going to move on down to the next paragraph. So this one was talking about how the young are taken away from their mothers at a young age, which has proven to cause stress, depression, and anxiety among both the babies and the mother. So I would write that in a sentence for clue number 2. And then going back to the passage for clue number 3, I would look at the next paragraph, which talked about the horrible tools that they use to punish them when they're training them, which are not the greatest, obviously, because it causes them to bleed, bruise, or possibly even have broken bones. So once again, I would put that into 1 to 2 sentences for clue number 3. Then at the bottom it says, do you agree or disagree with the author's point of view? For me, this is my opinion, I would put yes. I agree that the circus should not be performing with animals any longer, because that's basically what author 1 is getting across. And even on the last sentence, it says, now as this person, as an adult, they're trying to work hard to boycott animal circuses. That means that they don't go, and then they have peaceful campaigns to stop animal cruelty in circuses around the U.S. So they want these things to stop, and I completely agree with them. So that would be my opinion down here, or my point of view, and I would put that into a sentence with a capital letter and punctuation. All right, so after today, good nonfiction readers can determine the author's point of view, that's POV, it stands for point of view, and perspective when reading a passage. Remember, those 2 words are interchangeable, they're synonyms, okay? So now for your assignment, you're actually going to go to your independent task page, and you're going to look to see what you need to do, okay? So first, obviously, you're watching this video, and now you're going to do 11/9 author's point of view number 1 in ClassKick. Okay, that's the task that you're going to complete now.